It's February 15th, 14th, February 14th, 2025.
You just skipped over Valentine's Day. Joel Pearl hates love. Confirmed.
Fine by me. February 14th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl. You know what it was? I looked at 2025 and said, don't say 2024. And I said 2024, 2025, 15, 14. It's all the same. It's time to get in the weeds. Y'all know who I am. The guy next to me, you know who he is. It's Fabulous Friday. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Love Day for those who care. For those who don't, just do something nice for yourself. Make yourself happy. Whatever that means, make yourself happy. Do it safely. Do it happily. And there you go. In Europe, they don't care, which is where they shouldn't care about anything. Jeremy Lambert is here. Happy Love Day, pal.
Happy Valentine's Day, Joel Pearl. Gotta spend it with you. Gosh.
Did you get me anything?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
Our love is dead.
I'm not getting you anything. We're like Kanye and Bianca. We ain't built for this, Joel.
There was a really funny tweet where someone was like, I can just imagine her packing a thimble full of clothes and leaving. I thought that was fantastic.
Love is dead. Kanye and Bianca couldn't make it.
It's fine. Fuck the Nazis. Yeah, I'm a minute in and I said it. If YouTube wants to get on me for that, I don't care.
Fair.
That's true. It's a wonderful day. It's beautiful sunny here in Toronto. Yesterday was not so much fun. We had a buttload of snow to the point where everything got closed down, canceled, and put to rest. My kids' daycare was closed. And that turned into a whole day. We went to the aquarium. It was fun. Huh? Do you like aquariums, Jeremy Lambert?
No.
No? Why not?
No, there's fishes around. I don't care. Watch these fish for.
Oh, so there are sharks, turtles, other various things, squids, other jellyfish. There are lots of jellyfish. Upside down jellyfish are my kid's favorite.
Yeah. All right. Aquariums and zoos, like, I don't know. It's fine. The kids enjoy them, so I like going with the kids. But if that's not something I would do on my own.
Well, I didn't go on my own. I went with the kid. What happened was, so everything's closed, right? And we're like, what are we going to do? The libraries were like, okay, we can go to the library, right? Libraries are like, oh, we're all opening at 12:30 this afternoon. I'm like, well, it's 8 o'clock. So what are we going to do? And then I'm like, I have a free pass, or at least one that I've already purchased, to the aquarium. We have friends who are down there with other kids. Maybe we can all go down there, even though it's snow. The snow made everything gross. Anyway, then I check the aquarium. Not only are they open, but they're like, hey, snow day, 50% off admission. And I'm like, well, you're already very expensive, so let's go and take advantage of that. So we went. It was 50% off. It was empty, which made it even better. And we spent the better part of a few hours there. And it was there. No one else was there. It was just like us having free reign of the aquarium. We saw the people cleaning the tanks, Jeremy. In the tanks, cleaning the damn things. You don't see that at the aquarium.
It ruins the mystique of the aquarium.
No, it makes it better because then the kids see them cleaning and they're like, whoa, we want to clean too. And I'm like, you damn right you want to clean too. You get in there, you put on a scuba suit and you clean those tanks.
This would actually be great, tossing these kids into the aquarium, be like, go clean. And if you don't clean in time, sharks will be released. Good luck.
No, it's more like if you don't clean in time, the tank of your air will run out.
Well, either way,
the kids are taken care of one way or another.
Either way, murder, you know?
Yeah, I saw you making best pals with Charles Mason.
And I about died. I have the clip. Can we play the clip? Do we have the clip?
Please. Yes, the clip is there. Please play it.
I advocate for murder all the time on this show, Charles.
We need more of that. We need more murder.
See? I'm saying me and Charles are alike. I think we can team.
No, we're not alike.
Okay,
don't stay in your place.
Sorry.
Understand? We're not alike.
We think alike, maybe?
Right.
He hit you with that real fast.
Oh, man. I'm lucky to be alive. Gonna be honest with everybody. I'm very lucky to be alive after that interview yesterday because I thought I was dead for sure.
He almost rerouted wherever he was going in that car and found you. He would have been like Jeremy Lambert's house.
He thinks I'm close to Toronto at least because I told him I was in Toronto for the GCW show where he snapped Jordan Oliver's ACL. So I think he thinks I'm close to Toronto. So I'll just tell him my name's Joel Pearl and I'll be fine.
That's fine. Good luck finding my place anyway. There's security here, damn it. Gate codes and all.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
true. It is difficult to get into your area if you try to use a GPS.
Yeah.
Take it to a nondescript garage in the middle of the road is where they take you.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about my place. It confuses a lot of people. Delivery drivers, game over. You have to tell them where to go or else they will never find the place. Although
Yeah.
Google's starting to figure out how it's supposed to be, not dropping off at the wrong door.
Very difficult. Man, I was very scared though yesterday. I made it though. I'm here. It was a great interview with Charles Mason yesterday. It was a great interview with Clark Connors yesterday. It's a great interview with Masha Slamovich yesterday. A lot of interviews yesterday. A lot of interviews this week. Ton of interviews this week. I'm tired of talking to other people, especially usual.
Do we have any today?
No. I think we're in the clear for today. People got to deal with us for 2 hours, give or take. Today.
Give or take.
Sorry.
I mean, there's enough going on in the world of wrestling, maybe, possibly. I don't know.
You said you were going to like complain about TNA for 50 minutes. And I'm like, oh, that sounds terrible.
Well, first of all, I didn't say complain. I said I was going to say how TNA broke my brain for the 40 minutes at the top.
Same difference.
That's true. It did. I mean, breaking my brain, whatever. I had my my Hank discovers Walter White's identity moment. You know, the Hank on the toilet moments. Yeah. Remember that from Breaking? Yeah, I had that this afternoon or this morning. As I'm making breakfast for my wife. I dropped off the kid at school and I came back and I made breakfast for my wife. And I'm listening to the Dynamite post show from Fightful. I listened to Sean and Alex, and Sean made a little offhand remark that really caught me by surprise. Do you want to hear? You want to hear what it was?
Sure.
So Alex says, "Oh, and then you've got Elijah. He's making videos and he's going to be with the Righteous soon, and they're going to be in ROH and then AEW." And Sean's like, up. Remember, we reported Elijah, and we also did the short. Elijah has not been signed to AEW or Ring of Honor. Felt like they were doing that video to, I don't know, maybe market for the indies. And then Sean said offhandedly, he's working with something with TNA. What's Joe Hendry's segment on the Live Impact on Thursday, Jeremy? I know you covered the show.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do another concert. They're running that bit to the ground. They got.
Who wants to walk with Joe Hendry at Sacrifice? They're doing Joe Hendry and Elijah at Sacrifice in San Antonio, or wherever it is in Texas.
Is that the next show? Sacrifice?
Sacrifice is the next show. It's the Plus show in March.
Oh, okay.
They broke my brain because then they announced that they're doing TNA Unbreakable on WrestleMania week on the Thursday. That's April 17th, 10 days before Rebellion, which is the actual pay-per-view they're doing. And I'm like, how is this going to fit? It's a Thursday night. And then I realized where they're going to be. They will be in Vegas on the West Coast. They will have had TV in the can already. So it's not, and I'm still waiting for confirmation, it's not a live episode of Impact. Impact will most likely air between 8 and 10 Eastern. And then at 10 or 11 Eastern, they will air the show on Plus because they're in Vegas and they're going to start at what is 7 o'clock there. And
they did this
a late show.
They did this a few years ago, didn't they? With Multiverse.
Whenever they used to work Sam's Town, they used to do these late Plus shows.
Yeah, they did this a few years ago at Mania, where the taped episode aired and then a live Impact special aired at like 11 o'clock at night. Oh, I don't want to think about WrestleMania week. It's still 2 months away. It gets busier and busier every single year. Just really so much going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But you know what? Eyes on Vegas yesterday. The good news was Chris Bay did post a little update on his condition. It's his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to him. Posted a video of himself standing up, taking some steps to the camera, and then explaining a little bit about what had happened to him since October when he was injured at the post Bound for Glory TV tapings in Detroit. Essentially said he was injured. He immediately had surgery and spent 50 days, 50 in Detroit between ICU for a week, physical therapy rehab and all that. And then he got released back to go home at the end of December. So we wish him well. Fantastic news for Chris Bay. And I know that the wrestling world, fans and wrestlers alike, people who are just wrestling adjacent, were super excited to see that not only Chris Bay was up and walking, but also that he looks like he's feeling optimistic. Doesn't know about wrestling. He says it's kind of the last thing on his mind, but he also calls it possibly the greatest story ever told. So we'll see what happens. It's just nice to hear from Chris and hear some positive news from him.
Yeah, it was good to see that video and the overall message that he posted, and best wishes to to Chris Bay as he continues to recover. Future Stars of Wrestling is running a Chris Bay benefit show in a month. We're hoping to, if not get the promoter on, maybe get some wrestlers on and continue to help out the best we can with things and promoting the show, and giving donations to Chris and just trying to support Chris however we can as a small time podcasters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people have pulled through for Chris, not only TNA, but also all the way through the indies, and fans and friends alike. It's been really, really magical to see. I've talked to so many wrestlers and crew people with TNA on and off camera about that companionship and just that camaraderie, that tight locker room that exists in TNA. And to see them all rally around Chris like that is it's heartwarming. It's really good. I'm really excited to see what happens with Chris next in his recovery. Hopefully nothing but good things moving forward.
Yeah, and as long as he is healthy, it can live a comfortable life. Wrestling should be the last thing on everybody's mind, honestly. Like, if he can make a comeback, great. If not, as long as he lives a healthy and comfortable life, that's what matters.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, come back and win the NXT tag titles when you're ready. Some more positive news coming out of ESPN. They announced today on Get Up, ESPN's Get Up, Michelle McCool will be joining the WWE Hall of Fame. They announced that this morning on the show. Really, really fun news. Michelle McCool, of course, multi-time WWE Divas champion, and of course, the partner of The Undertaker.
Two-time Divas champion, two-time Women's champion. She finished her full-time career in 2011, but she's been in the Rumble multiple times since then. And she was at the Rumble this year, did not compete in the Rumble, but attended the show. She's been attending a lot of shows just with Undertaker over the years. And I think most people remember her with Lay Cool, and we'll see if Layla gets into the Hall of Fame at some point. But Lay Cool was a cool tag team before tag teams were cool in the women's division. Excuse me. And they were some standouts of the Divas era. Honestly, that era, is remembered how it's remembered, but they tried to do what they could with the TV time that they could way back then. And look, there was some not great storylines, but everyone remembers the Piggy James stuff. And Michelle she just did an interview with Van Vliet where she said she apologized every day for all of that. And, they were fed a lot of shit back then, and they did what they could with what they were given. And it's good to see a lot of those women get their flowers nowadays. And it's a shame that they all had to go through that back in those days when they did not care one lick about women's wrestling.
Michelle McCool, also the owner of one of the best Royal Rumble entries ever, where she's sitting in the front row with her kids, music hits, and she just gets in her gear, or just takes off her jacket and gets in the ring. I thought that was fantastic. Little things like that, they'll pop me. So congratulations to Michelle McCool. Very excited to see her in the Hall of Fame. I wonder who is going to induct her. Part of me would love to see Layla do that, if they're not going to induct Layla this year.
I don't think they're going to induct Layla this year. And that's no knock on Layla. It just, do they typically have two women inducted? I know we've done this before of how many people get inducted, and usually it's only 4 or 5. They go with the headliner, they go with one female, they go with a tag team or a group, and then they have a celebrity or someone who maybe isn't, you think of as a wrestler. You think of more as a kind of a manager, wrestler adjacent type person. So I don't know. I don't remember the last time they had 2 females inducted. That's not to say it shouldn't happen. It's just this is their way of doing things.
Yeah, I largely agree. I think it's more likely that if Layla's involved, she will induct Michelle. But I don't even think that'll be that. I don't know who's gonna I don't know who would induct her at this point. I'm just looking down her experience, and no one like jumps at me.
Layla makes the most sense.
Yeah,
You can do Undertaker, I guess.
feels a little hokey.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why you would want your partner to induct you. I mean, I get it, but it also just feels like, why wouldn't it be someone you worked closely with on screen? I assume it'll be Layla, assuming they have a good relationship still. It seems like they do. They still talk pretty highly of each other, and assuming everything is good with Layla and she can make it. So it feels like they can. It'll be Layla if things work out that way.
There's also Natty. There's Mickey James, of course. Beth Phoenix would be good because they do have a big history, but I don't know what the expectation is with Beth. She's a free agent. She's not signed anywhere, but of course, her husband is about to have a main event match on some AEW shows. So I don't know if that's something they want to have. It's also the Hall of Fame. It's not
her voice. Her
Pardon?
voice is signed to AEW.
Her voice is on a sync deal with AEW. Everyone's learning about sync agreements this week, thanks to Ricky Starks.
I would think that it's Layla. Natalia, they should do a bit where like Natalia just inducts like every single woman in history because she has history with all of these women, and so she just becomes like the de facto inductor for everyone. It'd be a tremendous bit.
She inducts everyone and then never gets in on her.
Then finally, like and then like in like 10 years, all the women she's inducted are up there to induct Natalia. But instead of an induction ceremony, it just becomes a roast of Natalia. Because Natalia will probably have fun with that. And Undertaker's mentioned they should do a roast for WrestleMania weekend. So that's going to be the whole payoff to this bit is Natalia inducts 10 women for the next decade, and then 10 years from now we run it all back, and then all 10 of these women induct Natalia in roast fashion, and then Natalia gets to take her shots at all of these women that she had to induct over the years and who just did a roast of her. This is my grand idea. This is long-term booking right here, a decade in the making.
I think it's either Natty or maybe they will make the call. Maybe, who knows? Maybe Beth Phoenix will be able to do the induction.
No,
she's a Hall of Famer.
Sure, but I think Beth Phoenix is lower on the list.
Maybe. Again, the induction. I'm looking at past matches, and it could be Nikki Bella. Honestly, the Bella twins did work with Michelle McCool and Natty for that matter at different points. So there are options, not like a ton, but there are some pretty prevalent options.
I think the list is Layla, if you can get her, Natalia, and Mickey. I don't know how Mickey feels about that stuff is the only thing, because there was, not great with the Piggy James stuff. So I don't know if they even want to connect the two and try to make you remember or have you remember that. It feels like they just rather like, oh yeah, this never really happened. Let's move on.
I like the roast idea, but I also fear that it would be very WWEized. They'd have to run everything.
It'd be awful. Through. That's what would make it great, though.
It would just be very, very tame, even though they could cut each other real deep if they wanted to.
It'd be like pretty terrible, honestly. Or they did the roast of Ric Flair, and it was just
no. I try not to remember anything involving Ric Flair. I've had nightmares about the time I had to review that particular last match.
That sucked.
Did it ever?
It wouldn't be good, but it'd be funny to watch them get up there and like think they're funny and then just completely miss the point of a lot of this stuff, because wrestlers are funny in their own way, but I don't know if they'd make for like good roast comics. They gotta have the people write their material, but then there's still delivery and like hitting the mark on that. I don't know if anybody would be that great at it. Sami Zayn should just roast everybody. It feels like Sami would be good at it. He does a good one-man show, multiple man show.
Should Cody do it? Let Bailey roast them. Let Bailey roast them. I'm thinking of people who were at his one-man show that night we saw.
Cody would actually be great because Cody's a good storyteller. He's a really good storyteller. This is why I love Cody interviews, because he says a lot of the same stuff. He repeats a lot of the same stuff, but he makes you believe when he speaks, and he's a good storyteller with this stuff. And he always adds something new to his stories. The Cody lies. So Cody can get up there, and he's very good at like over exaggerating things as well. So I actually think Cody would be pretty good at something like that, because when like roast, it's not necessarily of just hitting a punchline to a joke. It is telling stories and then connecting it and making sure you punch home what you need to say. I feel like Cody would actually be good at that.
Oh, so what you're saying is Bully Ray needs to host this thing.
Anyway,
what else is there to talk about before we dive into a little bit of Dynamite? How much did you and SP3 talk about Dynamite last night or yesterday morning?
We didn't have a whole lot. We did 3 interviews, Joel. So we talked about Moxley and Cope, and then a little bit about Harley. Otherwise, not too much when it came to Dynamite. We had stuff to do.
It's true.
People to talk to.
A lot of people just popped in on your show. What is this about? These 3 people. I mean, 2 were scheduled, and then a third one pops up, and you're like, what is this shit? And then you ended up getting almost, threatened for murder.
Well, the Clark Connors, that was scheduled, but like not confirmed. So I didn't promote it because we've had enough scheduling issues this week with everything. Oh, I didn't feel great about promoting. Yeah, Clark Connors is going to be on the show. I was already worried about promoting Charles and Masha because I wasn't sure with how the week had gone. And yeah, Clark wasn't confirmed. So when he showed up at 11, what I was mainly worried about when I saw Clark Connors show up at 11 is like, I thought Masha was at 11. Oh no, are both of them going to be on at the same time? This isn't going to go well. And fortunately, Masha was 11:30, and so it all worked out. And bless SP3, like he watches more New Japan than anybody. So when Clark showed up, I was like, oh, the right person's on the show for this, because SP3 can roll right into it and know exactly what to ask and everything. So it was a great interview with Clark. And then I did a bunch of transcriptions yesterday. We got a bunch of articles coming out off of those. But yeah, it was a fun show yesterday with all these interviews. And shout out again to Orange Crush and JCW for lining up a bunch of guests this week for us. And everyone check out the J Cup tomorrow and Sunday on Trailer Plus.
That's right. The Jersey J Cup is Saturday and Sunday. But if you want Jersey Jacob Fatu, that's tonight on SmackDown.
Yeah, he is wrestling tonight on SmackDown. That's true.
You bet. Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be in that triple threat where he doesn't eat a pin and he doesn't win the match either. So we'll talk about SmackDown when we get there. All right. Where should we start? First of all, you should leave a thumbs up on the video because I am 23 minutes in, and guess what I did? Forgot to tell you all to do it. There you go. Get your pyro going. Where's Pyro? Where's your Pyro? Come on, big smiles. There it is.
Yep. It's been glitching lately.
You got to update your MacBook.
There we go.
There it is. Pyro.
I updated it. It's all up to date.
Then you have to downgrade it just to bring it back to where it used to be.
Oh, okay, fair.
Probably what you need to do. And also, you can subscribe to the channel if you have not already. What is wrong with you? We drop content every day. All those interviews we talk about, they are now going standalone on the channel as well. So check that out. And donate a super chat any amount. Get your question or statement read on the air. We appreciate it. Lets us pay the people that do so much fine work on this channel. It's not just us and SP3, of course. You got Rob and Maggie today, later on 3 o'clock. Who else is on this channel? You got, I just said coexisting. You got Wrestling Made Me Cry. Wrestling Made Me Cry.
You'll cry, baby.
It made me cry, baby. Wrestling Made Me Cry with Auntie, with Auntie Collins and with Kylie. I'm on one today.
You're out of it, Joel. What's happening here?
It's Friday. There was a big snowstorm. Getting the kid to daycare today was the worst.
Excuses. You hear these excuses Joel comes up with all the time?
It was so hard getting him to school today.
Oh,
just a stroller in the snow. It's not fun. Oh, it's just the worst.
Just excuses from this man. Knock it off.
Spotlight also exists. Jensen and Jeremy are live every Thursday nights, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Check that out. It's a good show they had this week.
Nah.
Well, I mean, Alex showed up, right?
The Alec Price interview was very fun. It was very fun. Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. Something's happened. People asking Josh Alexander, does he show up at Vengeance Day? In our opinion, Josh Alexander had his final TNA match air last night. Eric Young beat him with the old mask to the head into the pile driver. Referee Daniel Spencer sucks. Gets distracted at every turn. He knows what he did. And Eric Young beats Alexander on his way out. Josh Alexander then posting everything on socials about his time in TNA.
That was
loved his time there, if you didn't know, except for the last year where they picked up the option and he had to make the best of it. But anyway, other than that, Josh Alexander, this is it for him for now. There are multiple options on the table. If he's doing free agency because he wants to know what it's like. He wants to know if the offers are there. I think you'd be foolish not to at least look into him if you are representing a major company, be that New Japan, WWE, AEW, even MLW. If there's a room or a space for him there, it's a similar contract to what TNA offers in terms of working commitments. But again, if there's something on the table that makes sense, he can do that, or he could wind up back in TNA because if TNA decides, hey, we have money for Josh now, then they could do that. What's your opinion with Josh? Because he's got an open idea of where he could go.
I think he's going to NXT. I think he could be there at Vengeance Day. I think Obafemi wins. Here will be the tip off, everybody. If that match closes the show, Josh Alexander's coming out. Because there's no reason for that match to close the show. The women's match should close the show. But if for some reason Obafemi, Grayson Waller, and Austin Theory close the show, Josh Alexander is arriving.
Yep. And I know that he mentioned in interviews about wanting to do the G1, and that's a dream. It makes me so curious because, again, I will never question a wrestler's, dreams or aspirations or what drives them. I always wonder, for someone who has young children, to do something like the G1, it's tough. You gotta take time away from your family, potentially for a solid month. You can take them with you if you really have that opportunity or that ability, but I don't know if that he would. So again, if the dream is there and he wants to do it and he's got support, go for it. But it would take him away for a month, and that's not until close to the fall, end of the summer.
Yeah, it's usually July, August, give or take. I know they've announced the dates. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's typically when it is.
If the reporting is that Jeff Cobb is on his way out of New Japan, I could see a guy like Josh Alexander pulling up and being the next kind of Jeff Cobb in terms of wrestling acumen. Yeah, obviously, size-wise, they're very different. But Jeff Cobb and Josh Alexander have more in common from a wrestling standpoint than most would think. So I don't know where he would end up. If New Japan is where he's offered the most opportunity and the most money, go for it. I think he's going to go wherever's best for him when it comes down to money, visa, and opportunities.
Yeah, it's whatever Josh Alexander wants to do. He's earned the right to be a free agent. He has built up a lot of good equity. He's built up a huge reputation for himself as one of the best in-ring workers. And he's going to have options. He's mentioned he wants to tell stories, and he's really enjoyed being a TV character, a weekly television storyteller. So he's going to have his options with AEW and WWE. There's a spot for him in NXT because NXT needs as much help as they can get in the men's division. You add Ricky Starks, you add Josh Alexander, all of a sudden that men's division looking halfway decent. WWE, there isn't a ton of option main roster right now because they're in the middle of the build to WrestleMania. So I don't quite know where he slots in there. AEW, you can find a spot for somebody like Josh Alexander, but they've also got guys that still need to be curated and built up. And you add a Josh Alexander, okay, who are you taking TV time away from on AEW, where we already talked about they don't seem to have enough TV time to get all their stuff in and to focus on a lot of people. They reportedly have Speedball waiting in the wings, and Speedball couldn't do the Continental Classic. So we had to wait till the beginning of the year, and still no speedball. So where does he start?
I can finally speak to that because Veda Scott did mention it. And I put it in the private chat the day when I said I didn't want to talk about it. Visa issues have been part of the holdup with speedball. So Veda's put it out there. So it is now, it's not knowledge, but at least it's reportable because she did put it on one of her live streams. So there seems to be a visa issue getting speedball in ready for AEW.
Okay. Well, that's glad that it's out there. Hopefully he's coming in soon. But my overall point is you have speedball waiting to come in. You're going to have to find a spot for him. You bring in Alexander, you're going to have to find a spot for him. So that's two people that now you're looking at spots for. And again, who does that take away from? You guys can say Jericho, he ain't going nowhere. Sorry. He's not going anywhere. Jericho's going to be on television and he's going to continue to take up his TV time. Oh, I understand you might not want Jericho there and you think Jericho is very easily replaceable and just give his TV time to Josh Alexander or Speedball. Ain't happening. It's just not.
Yeah, and there's a lot of opportunity for all the names just mentioned minus Jericho. We don't need to talk about him. We will when we actually talk about some Dynamite stuff because I have some feelings about things that they decided to do with him, let me tell you. But Josh Alexander potentially showing up on Saturday at Vengeance Day would be a moment. Someone asked if the women go on last, who shows up. I don't think it's a question of people showing up in the case of the women headlining the show. I think it's more a case of you've solidified that the women's division in NXT is right now the hottest it's been, so they deserve the main event. Now that you've added Cora Jade, I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I'm not personally the biggest fan of Cora Jade's performing right now, but she showed up on TNA last night. Had a match against Xia Brookside. It was okay. Never put Cora Jade on commentary. It's awful. Anyway, the point I'm trying to
the hate you have for Cora Jade.
Bad. It's so bad. Did you listen to it last week? Did you listen to her try to speak it? It was just not. It was not good. Stop it. It was bad.
Well, I don't listen to any commentary. I've tuned out commentary so well. Like, I'm fantastic at tuning out commentary.
So bad. Just terrible. She needs a new theme, says Ryan Lemmer. She needs a lot of new things. Well, she's got a lot of new things, but she doesn't need to be. I don't know. I don't think that the four-way is the way to go. But they're doing it. I get why. If it's the main event, it makes sense, and it doesn't need anyone showing up at the end because again, the NXT Women's Division is pretty stacked. They're just showing off at that point. If the NXT Championship is the one that closes the show, like Jeremy said, it feels like someone's going to pop out at that point, and Josh would be a very nice surprise. I don't know if the people of Washington, D.C. would actually know, but it'd be fun to watch them try. Remember when Paul Ellering showed up with AOP on the first time, and the crowd was chanting, "Who are you?" Yeah, I think about that a lot.
They'll know Josh Alexander. He'll get a decent pop.
Yeah, but it's not Florida.
It is DC. It's not like it's a super hotbed for TNA. So
when was the last time TNA even worked in Washington? Yeah. TNA, Washington, DC. I'm actually I have no idea.
I don't remember the last time. I can't recall them actually running DC. That feels like I don't know if Alexander was even in the company.
Did they run the DC Armory? I don't even know. Yeah, I can't think of the last. Maybe someone knows and you can look it up. And yeah, someone's saying Cora just wins, so Joel gets really mad. I've already said there's no one in TNA right now that could go for the Knockouts Championship against Masha other than Cora Jade. Like there's no one else in that Knockouts division who is deserving of a title shot, and we're kind of at the Cora Jade part of it. So that feels like a sacrifice match.
Okay.
Can you think of anyone in TNA? I mean, you watched. Cyclops is informing us DC is TNA country, you uninformed swans. It's the latter half of the statement that gets me.
No, the Knockouts division is it needs some help, where we were praising for years, oh, it's so good, it's so underrated, they got so much good talent, people just aren't paying attention. Now it's like You got Masha, and then they got Tessa, but I don't know what they want to do with Tessa.
Who?
Yeah.
She doesn't wrestle.
Yeah.
And when she doesn't wrestle, she has sweet consequences coming to your way. That's my Santino Marella. He was on one last night, let me tell you.
He got super kicked.
Yeah. My favorite reasoning, I had to explain to people why they gave Nick Nemeth 4 weeks off. Do you know why?
Is he filming something?
He's working Qatar Pro Wrestling of the 2 days when they're in Florida, when they're taping.
Oh.
Yeah. Mustafa Ali's also supposed to be on those shows in Qatar. I don't know where he's going to be. They're also, I mean, they're building towards Santana and Ali. That was a hilarious segment, the town hall meeting, just for Dreamer to point to Santana and Santana be like, huh, what? Like completely oblivious to him being next up. That shit rules. But I don't know what's going to go on with Ali and Qatar. I just know that you've got Nick Nemeth is going to be away for 4 weeks because he's away for the tapings in Florida.
All right. Well, that makes sense then. So, yeah, that was good booking, I guess. You probably have your I's dotted and T's crossed there of, hey, is our former world champion going to be around for our next set of tapings? And apparently not. Well,
they've done this before. When he was champion.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
We had to go to Australia. That shit was funny. Thank God they had a good top part of the card to work with for that. My goodness. Yeah. Someone asking, is Killer Kelly close to coming back? She did return to a wrestling event. She was at a Revolver show not too long ago. I meant like not as a wrestler, but as like she appeared on the event, and that was Pro Wrestling Revolver. She was with Macklin of all people because they're in a stable together called Red. So if Kelly is somehow cleared to wrestle, she very recently gave birth. So I don't know what her timeline is like, but she's someone that the second she's ready to go and wants to, I would toss her into the Knockouts main division immediately.
Yeah, if she can go, I'm not gonna rush her into that spot. So if she can return, go for it. If not, let her be. But the division needs some help. Losing Jordan was huge loss for the division, and they didn't. The person they made was Tessa, and
they made her do nothing, is what they did.
Yeah. You got to find something for that division. I mean, that's why you're getting Cora Jade down there for the time being, because there ain't anybody else who's ready to step up for that spot.
Also, sorry, I'm just thinking about this. PW Insider, and this is not throwing shade at them. They were the ones who reported this. They said that Tully Blanchard filmed some stuff with Tessa for the Texas tapings. Last night was the last night of those Texas tapings. There's been nothing of her with Tully this entire time on TV or in a digital exclusive. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they used it or didn't use it, or nothing was done and he was just visiting. He was at the shows. They showed him on TV for the match at Genesis. But other than that, or no, it was her stupid promo on the stage that no one cared about. Yeah, there was that.
That was a live show.
That was the live show. Oh, buddy, was it ever a live show? It's actually pretty good. But that segment was just... Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Someone's saying Kylan King, she's back in a couple of months. Great. You still have to fill a couple of months. They really need to restock the Knockouts division with knockouts that people are invested in. I don't know who that's going to be.
They don't... that Battle Royal they did last week kind of highlighted
tag teams.
just the state of the division. It's like, oh man, this is who y'all got right now. Like, they're all fine performers. They just haven't built any of these women. And that's why Savannah Evans gets the title shot. And I feel like Savannah Evans was off television for months. So
I don't know where they're going to go with it. I know that NXT has a plethora of women that are ready to at least have a shot. And if they're starting with Cora, that's fine. Masha can wrestle anyone. That's the best part. So I'm less worried about who she's going to wrestle. I'm more worried about how the Knockouts division will keep up with the caliber of wrestling star Masha Slamovich can be. If that makes sense. The Unbreakable stuff very quickly was the reason it broke my brain is because the taping schedule has them taping around Unbreakable before they announced it, because they've got a 2-night taping event at the end of March that's supposed to take them all the way to Rebellion, but now you have to include the build to Unbreakable, which will then include the build to Rebellion. So now you have to put whatever you're going to be taping in March during those tapings has to cover a Plus event and a live pay-per-view. So I'm curious about what goes where creatively. That's why it broke my brain. I looked at the scheduling and I was like, this doesn't work with the traditional model of TNA, where I'm happy they're not doing a Plus event and then 2 weeks later another show, but they're not getting, like, they're just adding this event, it feels like, for the sake of adding a WrestleMania week event. They're also running it at the worst location compared to everything else. Like, they're running it at the PAX Pavilion, which is on near the Thomas and Mack Center, which is like a 10-minute drive off the strip. You've got Thomas and Mack is down here, and then up here is where the Collective is going to be at Palms, where TNA ran Hard to Kill and Rebellion last year. But they're like on opposite ends. And most of the people who are going to be watching TNA are probably going to be going to the Collective. So, like, you're making them go all the way down to the bottom of the strip and across. It's very weird booking strategy, or at least from a venue booking standpoint, but it is what it is.
Everybody just wants to run WrestleMania weekend. You got to go where the buildings are. And I don't know when they decided they were going to run WrestleMania weekend, considering this announcement is 2 months out when most of the indie shows have been announcing like 6 months ago. So I feel like a lot of the buildings were kind of already booked up. And so they just were like, all right, what's left? Oh, this place. Okay, this is where we're going.
I also wonder if there's any talent that are going to get pulled from other bookings. Mustafa Ali's booked for a show that's noon that day. But again, people are like, oh, it's noon that day. Some contracts prohibit you from working the day of an event to work twice. Some are day before, day after. So it all depends on what's in your contract. So Ali could be pulled from whatever show he's doing. Jody Threat's another one who's supposed to be working the Demand Lucha, and oh my god, it's a joint show. Maybe it's Defy and Demand. Anyway, Demand Lucha is the local here, and Jody's very much part of that. I wouldn't doubt that she gets pulled from that show to do TNA, unless TNA's like, well, we don't need you this week. So again, we'll see where it lands, but it feels like some talent's going to get pulled, and maybe they'll have some WWE Evolve talent work Unbreakable. Who knows?
I would imagine you're going to get some heavy WWE influence, considering they're there. And you're not going to put everybody from NXT on Stand and Deliver. So there's going to be opportunities for NXT talent to potentially work that Unbreakable show. So I'm sure you'll see some WWE talent on that show.
Just bring in the inspiration, have them work the Unbreakable show. They're working WrestleMania week. They can come and do it.
Yeah.
Sign them up for one night. Have them challenge for the Knockouts title. Be like, wrestlers from 20 years ago in TNA. I love how they're like, for the first time in 20 years. I'm like, you ran the show in 2019, but don't worry about it. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, Jeremy Lambert.
Yeah, never.
Yep, that's right. Speaking of a good story, Chris Jericho ripping off his running buddy, Brian Keith. Jeremy, what didn't Brian Keith just say in an interview that people still get elevated when they work with Chris Jericho? Why did Chris Jericho then turn around and basically rip off one of his own stablemates from Saturday's show?
It's the bit, Joel. That's the bit.
And he steals everything?
Yeah, he sees what's working and he latches onto it and runs it into the ground. You just don't get this higher level of thinking that Chris Jericho was on.
Well, then maybe Chris Jericho's next opponent should bring a bag full of bricks to the arena.
Man, when I read the spoilers and I saw they did this, I'm like, they couldn't even wait like a week to do it. It just saw that this worked on Collision, and it's like, now let's turn it into a segment on the television show. I was like, bless Chris Jericho. It kind of rules. I got no choice but to appreciate it.
No, you do have a choice.
No.
You do have a choice.
It's funny. It's funny to me.
I'm waiting for Henry in the chat just to be like, oh, big AEW hater Joel Pearl, but here I am. I'm hating and you're silent now, aren't you?
It's hilarious to me that they just went full bore with this. It also rules that they're gonna do. Chris Jericho's gonna wrestle on Honor Club. He's gonna be a part of ROH AEW Global Wars in Australia.
How much money do you think Chris Jericho was given? I'll agree on this hate, says Henry.
Cowards.
Yeah.
Cowards hating on Chris Jericho.
And by your hate. How much do you think Jericho got paid to license the Rager at Sea footage for Ring of Honor?
Oh, Jericho's
Also,
a smart businessman. He got some cash off of that.
That shit looked awful.
Yeah.
By the way, the quality of it, I saw some clips. I was like, oh, you can't air this on a television program. Luckily, it's a streaming program, and it was so bad. I was shocked when we weren't on the air last night when we came in to do our TNA post show, because normally ROH goes beforehand. And I was like, oh, did they just go earlier and stop and then leave us to our own? No, they didn't have their post show last night. They left us to our own, and then I found out why. And I was like, oh, yeah, ROH did not look good last night.
Wow. Really? They aired that live. It wasn't live. It was live to tape, but
Live to that 144p resolution. You just like watching.
I know Joel was fuming watching this.
YouTube potato phone over here.
It was. I saw screenshots. I was like, what is happening with this show? What? You couldn't clean this up? You couldn't run it through a video editor to high quality this thing? What's going on here?
That's probably the edited footage. The King Potatoes here. Someone call for me, the potato says. Yeah, you're always invited here. My goodness. It was a choice. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. They only have so much content that they have pre-filmed. But yeah, it's a thing. Filmed on a Nokia flip phone. Were they playing Snake while they filmed it? I don't know. But yeah, that was that's Ring of Honor. But let's dive a little bit into the main topic, the real nut on the fruit of the tree.
More Chris Jericho.
Oh, Chris Jericho have a match on the Collision show? No, he's got the Global Wars match. You said.
Yeah, he's got the Global Wars show. He's that's going to air on Honor Club at some point, maybe potentially.
I hope that the quality is better than whatever they filmed on the boats. You think the quality of the cameras in Australia are better than the international water boats?
This would be a great bit if like ROH just filmed all their stuff in low quality, like throwback to the DVD days. That's what they should do. Like, you guys want the old Ring of Honor? You want the restore the Ring of Honor feeling? Here we go. 2003 DVD quality for you, coming at you. And they should air it on Honor Club like 4 weeks later. So they film stuff 4 weeks in advance. That would require a little bit of like foresight into this, but it's not like they run angles and stuff anyway, outside of the, the offhanded thing of, oh, let's build up Billy Starks to lose again. That's the one angle we're running. So they should have 4 weeks before they put it on Honor Club. So it's like when you used to wait for the DVDs to come out on the website, like, oh man, that show looked really good. Samoa Joe and Bryan Danielson, fight of the century. We got to wait 4 weeks for the DVD. Now it's, oh man, Serpentico against Brian Keith, fight of the century. We got to wait 4 weeks to see this on Honor Club.
What's even worse is that you basically can just do the PWG method where they just shut down Honor Club and just turn it into a DVD service where you don't get it for 6 months.
That would rule. They should do that. This is how they sell it to the television networks as well. It's like, do you see the demand our fans have for these ROH shows? Look at all the fans online clamoring. They should hire some bots, get all the Drake bots out there of, look at our fans demanding online, please release the show now. We want to see this match. We want to see this match. And then cook the DVD sales on top of this to hand to Warner Brothers and be like, look, we've sold 10 million ROH DVDs. We've had to mass produce these ROH DVDs. People are so excited for Brian Keith against Serpentico that was filmed 6 months ago. 10 million DVD sales. It says it right here. Right here. Our numbers are there. And that's how they get a TV deal. You're welcome, ROH. I've gotten you your TV deal.
ROH
Lie
on
about your numbers. Buy some Twitter bots. Profit.
ROH on Netflix, but it's not like Netflix streaming. It's Netflix in the old boxes where you order the DVDs. That's the way it should go. So someone asking like, do they provide a DVD player when you actually buy the
That would
DVDs?
rule.
Yeah, you get a DVD player rental. They just ship you the box, and in the box is a DVD player, and inside is a copy of that Ring of Honor show that you've attained.
Yeah, you get a free DVD player on top of buying the ROH DVD.
Some Columbia House bullshit. Bring back Paul London. He'll be the spokesman.
They should do this. So it's like a 3-for-1 deal. You get a classic ROH DVD because they got all that footage. So you get a classic ROH. That's good. Pause.
Let's go. Red Box of Honor.
Yeah. You get a classic ROH DVD. Pick whatever one you want. You get a DVD player, and you get the new ROH as well. You might not have to cook the numbers in this case. Like I think people will just buy it for the classic DVD and the free DVD player or the DVD player.
Man, you can't give those away enough. I've got my dad's old DVD player, his old Blu-ray player, just sitting dormant. My mom's like, I'm not using this. I don't know how, and I don't want to. Who wants this? I'm like, you live in a building full of old people. Ask the old people who needs a DVD player, and all of them are just like, I don't know how to use this, so I have no use for it. And I'm like, I'm not taking it either. So forget it. This is how much people have moved away from physical media.
You underestimate the people who will buy a 3-for-1 deal where you get a classic ROH DVD, a DVD player, and a new age ROH DVD. They're gonna sell like hotcakes. I bet they sell more of these bundles than Penta masks.
I don't know. He sold a lot of them, according to him.
No, I mean in AEW. All you gotta sell one, and I win.
We don't even know if they'll sell one.
I'll buy one of these bundles just to prove myself correct.
Just to prove your points.
Yeah, you sold more ROH bundles than you sold Pentamask, AEW. You're welcome.
People asking, Ryan Lambert asking, remember when Blockbuster would rent out VHS players? Buddy, I remember when they would rent out gaming consoles. 6 days were the best. Yeah, rent an N64 or a Super Nintendo, get a couple of games. Yeah. And then because you didn't want to lose your place in the game, you'd leave the console on overnight and then wake up super early to keep going. That was the best. You could probably find VHS and DVDs at Goodwill. That'd be fun. I would enjoy that. But really the big news coming out was, yes, Harley Cameron. It's on the thumbnail. I was trying to think of things that should be on the thumbnail. And I realized, you know what? Harley Cameron got a lot of people talking yesterday. We didn't get to talk about it yesterday. So we're going to talk about it now.
No, we talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Well, it wasn't me.
You weren't here. Yeah.
So arguably, what did you even talk about? If I'm not there, who talks?
There's 2 other people on the show, and yesterday there was 3 people for most of the time. So we had plenty.
A lot of people yesterday. So Harley Cameron does the video. The video everyone's talking about. The Mercedes wrap. She's got the puppets. Puppet's still not on sale, though it has to be. And then she cuts. And she's sitting in the chair. And it's super intense. And this is funny because AEW actually has the promo typed out, the part where she's sitting on the chair. So, Mercedes, you're one of the greatest wrestlers alive, but you had to start somewhere. Not too long ago when there was a time I had no idea how to wrestle or how to play guitar or sing. Oh, they left out how to speak Chinese. They left that out because they don't know how to type in Chinese characters. Anyway, but I guess I'm a quick learner. Thank you for all the times you called me a loser because it pushed me to work harder. Thanks to you, Harley Cameron is going to win the TBS title in her home country. Feel the wrath. Got a lot of people talking because this was very well produced, very well acted, very well shot. And now the question becomes, do you pivot to Harley Cameron? Is she the person to beat Mercedes Moné? Is there a reason to do it? Is there a benefit to having her win and then drop it relatively quickly? Or is this the play and Mercedes bad and go away? Like what there is no in between. No, but what's the best play with Harley Cameron coming out of this? Should she beat Mercedes in Australia for the TBS title and keep moving on, or should we not go there?
Do you want my real answer or do you want my fake answer?
So here's the thing. On this show, we do both. So maybe we should start with chat. Should we start with the jokey jokes or should we get into the real?
I've given the real answer. My real answer is no, she should not win. I would have her lose, but I would keep the pairing of Mercedes and Harley together. I would have her lose in a competitive match. And then afterwards, Mercedes, like, you really proved something. Stick with me, kid, and we can go places. And then you keep them on screen together. And then over the next weeks, months, years, whatever it might be, you get Mercedes berating her. And whether Mercedes is the champion or not, maybe Mercedes loses this Chris, maybe Mercedes loses to Willow. But at some point, Harley gets fed up. They split, and then Harley does get the win over Mercedes. Look, if you want to make that the title match for months down the line, and that's when you crown Harley, fine. Like, you put some real stock into it by that point. That's my real answer, is I would keep them together through a loss.
So would you call it Mercedes Minion?
Everybody keeps making that comparison. No,
you're effectively doing that, though. Mercedes
it's much better because people are going to watch it.
Well, they're going to be more inclined to watch it because it's on the TV that is actually televised. Yes.
And you're actually going to pay it off with a Harley victory and not 2 years in a row having her lose.
Hell of a decision. Bring that down around in one more year. Okay, so let's talk about that one and then we can do the jokey jokes.
Okay.
I don't hate the idea of some mentorship, but I also don't know if they need to be attached at the hip per se, because that doesn't feel like Mercedes is very not lone wolf, because there's been talk of doing the whole like the Renegade twins and all that, but like she excels with a heater, and Harley is way too much of a baby face to
Does she excel with a heater?
Well, she's supposed to. She is supposed to excel with a heater, but I don't see a reason to have Harley Cameron win and win the TBS title just for the pop, because then immediately people are like, well, when's she going to lose it and how quickly? There's no reason to give Harley the win, because I don't think it builds Harley any more than she's been building herself through what she's been doing. She's been a big old loser. She still only has one win on AEW television, and she beat Taya Valkyrie. That's how she got this match, other than getting under Mercedes' skin. Mercedes is the wrestler. Harley is the entertainer. I think Harley's going to show off some new stuff, and hopefully the chemistry on screen, on promo, is going to translate to the ring and in the match. They should, in my opinion, have it so that it's a competitive enough match that Mercedes is like, oh shit, she almost got me a couple of times. Gives the nod, kind of like, Gunther would do it to certain opponents along the way. And then that's it. Harley gets a little bit of a rub out of this, and you keep building her. I don't think Harley Cameron needs a title to be over, because God, she's already proven that she's doing it. Alongside that, if you do Harley Cameron wins and then everyone's like, oh, and then she'll just lose it back to Mercedes at Revolution, I hate that, because then you're just doing participation trophy. Like, oh, you had a good showing. You proved yourself in this story, but now we're going back to the way it was supposed to be. And it devalues the TBS title, in my opinion. It doesn't make anyone better. It doesn't make anyone worse. It just kind of 50-50s something that doesn't need to be 50-50'd. I think a really good match for Harley will go a much stronger way than her getting a victory over Mercedes. That's where I stand on that. But you know whose opinion really matters in this whole thing? There's only one man whose opinion we sought when we ask who should win a match. Cameron Hawkins. How you doing?
What's up, guys? Happy Valentine's Day to those who celebrate.
Big plans for today?
Tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
That's when my pockets are getting broken. I did get the coolest gift. Hold on.
All right. That means he's on his own right now. He can do this. No sleeping partner in the background. Hello.
The Lego roses.
Lego?
Awesome.
Nice. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. You like that?
If you have someone who's allergic to that stuff, then they're perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing Brazilian steakhouse tomorrow. I bought a bunch of shit. I got money now. This shit is cool.
What's it like?
Man. Got her the Valentine's threes.
Yo,
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, they came out 2 weeks ago, so she's worn them once. But I was like, this is a Valentine's gift, just so you know. Like, expensive ass sneakers. But yeah, a Brazilian steakhouse tomorrow. Because she's coming in from out of town. So we might do something late tonight. Definitely gonna catch Captain America early tomorrow, and then just stuff. Can I date Cam? Let's see.
We've all asked that at one time in our lives.
Yeah. No, the wonderful thing is, she's like a very expensive dinner date, but is always willing to pay for said expensive dinner. And so the gift stuff, I'm like, that's nothing. That's cool. I don't think she's paying for this one, but we do what we can, man. Yeah, Valentine's.
So
all right, Cam. The real question everybody wants to talk about here.
Mhm.
So this man shows up on Tuesday's show. He doesn't have a name. Do you think he'll go with the name like Rick Hawk? Do you think that'll work?
Rick Hawk. So gotta be careful.
we did this on Tuesday. You know it's coming.
I think that I hope they don't change it. Genuinely. I think that he's made a name for himself. I think that from NWA, from AEW, from what he was doing on the Indies, him just recently, doing Defy and winning the title. I just feel like it's a good name. It's a name so good. We were friends for like a year before I knew that wasn't his name. The only reason, I kid you not, the only reason I know his government name is because he used to go to the college I work at. And so while he was trying to figure out exactly what he was going to do going forward, this is like 6 months ago, he originally was taking classes for occupational therapy. And so he was like, hey, I might be, wanting to take classes again, maybe do something online while I travel. Can you look me up? And so he gives me his student number and I see the name and I'm like, who is this? Yeah. So yeah. To the point where, this is the other thing, he's confident in that name. He's protective over that name. It's something that he's built to the point where he was on a project one time in the last year or so, and somebody used his real name on there and he caught it and he was like, no, we got to cut that. Can't have that. So he's very attached to this name. I hope they keep it. I just think I think it works. I think it's Ricky Starks is simple, but still has a bit of flash and pizzazz to it. The Ricky makes him sound so young. But yeah. But hey, I wish you would have seen it. So I went to Dynamite on Tuesday, and we're at the show, and everybody just starts like talking. Like everybody's like, it's like a whisper, and then everybody's like, oh, Ricky Starks just showed up at NXT. Ricky Starks showed up at NXT. I kid you not, somebody like 3 rows behind me looked at me and said, Seahawk, you lied to me. Like, bro, what do you mean? So yeah, man. Yeah. It's
Did you tell him? Like, did you have a conversation with that person beforehand? Nah, Ricky's not gonna show up at NXT tonight.
When I'm not saying anything, I'm saying a lot, evidently.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
You know how it works.
We do. Yeah.
That's definitely how it works.
Everything-
I like pancakes means you hate waffles. That's how it goes.
Yeah. And so like, I mean, it's been, funny. I made the joke that he asked me who Paulo Banchero is. Because like you just in Orlando. Okay, yeah. That's cool. But as you can imagine, he the one fun thing about him, he is who he is on television. He's very confident in his abilities, but he is always surprised by the amount of support that he gets. It's always very surprising to him. And so he's very humble in that way. I was like, yo, they was in the arena, they was going crazy. He was like, are you serious? Yeah. So it was I love seeing my friend happy, whatever that happiness entails. And yeah, he's in good spirits. And I hope that what am I talking? I know that they know how good he is. He's got the right people in his corner. I'm sure that, that the WWE champion, I'm sure, has talked him up. So yeah, man, we'll and the scouts scout. They watch everything, even if people say that they don't. They know exactly what they have in him, and I hope that I hope he has a great run. And if I ever have to pay for a WWE ticket again, everybody will know that birthday. No, I'm kidding.
You already know they're making people pay for their tickets. Nobody's getting comped no more. You know this.
Define nobody. But yeah, have you guys received the WrestleMania application email?
Oh, I'm not going to WrestleMania. So I've not received.
You know what they didn't do? They didn't approve my ask for Elimination Chamber.
And you live there.
And I live there because my boss is coming. So they probably think we're double dipping because I was applying under.
Oh, and that reminds me, I need to I don't feel like I'll have an issue. I don't know, but I need to check with the Yahoo guys to see who's applying for credentials, because if nobody is, I'll do it. And Ariel's a thing all unto himself, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. I just applied twice. I don't work in a couple of places. But yeah, they I was just bringing it up to say they specified it's just you, no plus ones like Vegan Red.
They always do that.
Why? 2 years? Well,
they've been doing that for a while, at least with me, with like stuff I've applied for, and then I tell them, hey, I got a producer for my actual filming stuff. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. We just can't get them an extra ticket if you ask.
There we go.
But otherwise, they're like, if you come to media day and you have someone behind the camera for you, that's fine.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or
if you want an extra ticket to the Sami Zayn stand-up show, which we did that.
Yeah, we managed to get that one. I was going to echo your comments about Ricky being humble, because I think people see the persona and think he's cocky and brash and everything. Like, all my conversations with him, the most down to earth, like super humble guy in the world. And when the red light's on, different person, can turn it on. But yes, very, very humble gentleman. That's why a lot of the stuff that has come out, I'm like, I don't know about all this. Doesn't sound like it. But
he's with WrestleMania being in New Orleans next year, NXT Stand and Deliver being in New Orleans, they have an opportunity to do something really, really cool. We'll see how things play out.
They should politic and be in the main event of WrestleMania and beat Cody and win the world title.
Fucking awesome. But yeah, like questions in the chat, is he like a face of the company in the making? I mean, I think that the fun and tough thing about WWE right now, you got a bunch of people running around mad about their WrestleMania spot. As a company, that's a great problem to have. You created like 8 main eventers, and there's no, you can't make everybody happy, but people we never thought would be in this position, like a Jey Uso, is there. Gunther, we all knew how good he was, but the Gunther from 5 years ago, might not ever be in this position. Drew stepped away, came back, became the man. Yeah. So, face of the company. I hope so. I don't want to pay for things. Please be the face of the company. I'm begging.
Cam, you put out a great feature article on Ricochet yesterday, and I always loved your opening paragraphs, because I don't think you do this to pop me, but you always work in a reference that pops me. So Top Gear was the reference that you worked in here. A big fan of Top Gear, the American version. I watched it all the time with my dad. I know you mentioned the English version. Also Justified reference in there, which really, really popped me. And then I don't know if you got this confirmed, but you referenced it. The laugh that he does. I've been saying since he started it, it's a Jadakiss laugh. And people are like, no, it's something.
I did not ask. I assume. People have been saying this. What have people been saying it is? Somebody else.
There have been all different kinds of.
Yeah, they've mentioned other stuff. Like, it's Jadakiss.
Something, yeah.
There was the Shy Ronnie one, which I love.
Shy Ronnie, yeah. I did not ask. That part I missed. I'll tell you what, I want to work it out with the guys. I would love to put that audio out. It was really, really fun. Me and Samantha are cool. So I reached out to Samantha first and was like, hey, what's something that, people don't know about him? she talks about, him working in the factory and him having, this amazing memory. And yeah, we really did get to kick it back and forth. And you forget how accomplished the guy is. Like, I made it a point to kind of work in. I think I talked about Nick Wayne a little bit. He's like, I've been doing this 21 years. Nick Wayne's 19. And it's just, he is, while their personalities are very different, both guys' confidence, being Ricky and Ricochet, just love it. And, Ricochet can just run you down the list of all the great matches he's had and how long people have loved the things that he's done. And it's funny. I got a guy who, guy's name's Mark. Of course, his name's Mark. He always comments on everything that's written for Yahoo. Always leaves something. And he's like, bet on himself. Does the author know that wrestling's scripted? Like, none of this is real? And it's like, bro, you still have to go to work. Like, Ricochet, to me, as long as his knees held up, had a cushy job. He could, do a couple of flips here and there. Probably, and again, if you even ask him, he didn't say this specifically, but you got to assume he's operating, 65, 70% of what he can actually do when he's in WWE, because that's what they asked him to do, so he probably could have, a couple of ladder match spots here, some money in the bank, and just be good. But his thing was, everybody's telling me how good I am. I want to confirm it for them. And I love that. I gotta love that. The opposite of, I need to prove that I can do. No, he's like, no, I'm really that good. And I want to make sure that I want to make sure that I can make sure you feel that you were correct about me. I loved it. I loved it. It's arrogance, but to me, arrogance ain't a bad word. He was great. He really was. And I told him the story again. So what happened was Danny from AEW had a scheduling conflict. So there's no PR person on the line. So it's just me and Ricochet. Like, I wait a minute and, he doesn't show up. I said, hey, do you remember me? Because I don't have my camera on. And he's like, no. And I was like, I'm the guy who thought you were the Uber in San Antonio. He was like, that's right. Yeah, that was a long night. But he's sweet. And then, hung out a little bit with him and Samantha at Wale Mania. Love that he is doing something different. Like, he's manic, he's crazy. I asked him, I was like, have you seen 1 hour photo? He said, no, but I'm aware of it. So, like, he doesn't remind me of specifically the Robin Williams character, but Rory from the Rory and Mal show, his video Enough is kind of a shot-by-shot remake of Robin Williams going into their house and imagining himself in the pictures and then them coming home and seeing him. And Rory kind of looks like Ricochet. So it fit. It kind of carried me through it. So, yeah.
I'm excited for what Ricochet is doing right now. It's the most character-driven work he's done. And I'm curious as to how much is coming from him, how much is coming from outside, how much of that is within the AEW bubble, how much is coming from friends or even from his own partner. There's a lot for him to work with here, and I think this is, again, the strongest work he's done. And he's talking about it here. Like, you're in your conversation with him, he's talking about his past, but like he's touching a little bit on what he's up to now, and I think it's again, strong work. If you're not watching or listening or inputting this stuff from Cam, you're crazy. So check out Uncrowned. I'm not kicking you off. We're still talking. I'm plugging it right now. It's on Yahoo Sports. Uncrowned. Go take a look at this right now. I don't even know if watching it with your eyes, reading it, I don't care what you do, get into it. But let's talk a little bit about it, because this is the strongest he's been.
Yeah, and I've been told I did a lot of legwork. I've done it in a while, only because I have, I know these people who are like around and working on this thing, and it is kind of a short-term goal to have you feel differently about him in 6 months than you ever did. That is what's being worked on, and it's working so far. So yeah.
You mentioned Samantha Irvin, and she was on a different morning show that we don't need to reference, but she did a very good interview with them. And one thing that it stood out to me is she talked about like wanting to do everything. She left WWE because she didn't want to be a ring announcer, and she said she didn't like ring announcing. And she even made the point of like, I realized how much that upset people because I found out Key and Peele don't talk. And I'm like, this is the most upsetting news of all time. So me saying I don't like ring announcing, I get how people felt about that now. But she talked about wanting to do so many different things, and she referenced like Eric Bischoff and how he kind of disrupted things and rose up and was able to do different things. And like she was very confident when she said everything. And I was like, why did we just put her in this box of, oh, she has to be a ring announcer because she was so good at ring announcing? Like, why can't Samantha Irvin be a general manager? Why can't she be a manager? Why can't she be some type of executive? I don't know what she like fully wants to do and everything, but it just got me thinking of how when someone is so good at something, and she was fantastic at ring announcing, it's like, all right, well, that's your role. That's all you can do now. We're not going to move away from that because you're very good at that. But I don't know, I thought the interview was really good, and it made me believe like, yeah, look, Samantha Irvin, whatever she wants to do, feel like she's talented enough to do it. And if she just gets the right opportunities and she gets kind of the timing works out for her, because a lot of it is timing more than just getting opportunities. Like, I'm not going to doubt Samantha Irvin. Like I was really impressed. She doesn't do like a ton of interviews or anything, but I walked away like even more impressed by her after this interview.
Big E's on TV show 3.
Yeah.
Like, it just, every time he announces something, it just kind of blows me away. I think that, with WWE, what we've seen, over the years, when they find a thing for you, they keep you in that thing. I think that it's especially true for women, and it's especially true for Black people and people of color. When they find a thing, you do the thing. And again, she's fantastic at it, right? They're loosening the reins a little bit. You're seeing more and more people do more and more things. But like, I don't know if not being a wrestler, that gives you more or less leverage to go and do what you want to do. I don't know if they really see that. Now, I'll say this on the flip side, though. And this is not about Samantha. Just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should. I don't want to hear white people double time rap.
Oh, taking shots at.
I want to hear it. And they're fantastic at it. I don't want to hear that. Like, but I will say this, though. Take the double time rap away. I have never seen like a crowd not expect something as much as that damn puppet and just lose it. It worked to perfection. It was amazing. It really was. Is the word multi-hyphenate? She could do everything. And to speak, not speak on behalf of WWE, but sometimes being able to do everything can be overkill. Like, I'm there with Brian Zillum and Caden Lee. Let me talk about Caden real quick.
You're gonna bury him, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
So,
good. Go ahead.
So I took Caden to Saturday night's main event. Right? Great seats for him. Caden, we're talking about going to the show, going to the AEW show. And he's like, guys, I'm gonna be in a suite. I was like, what do you mean you're gonna be in a suite? Like, it's a suite. It's not assigned seats in the suites. Like, we could just, and me and Brian just kind of looked at him like, all right. And so then he's like, hey guys, everybody's left. Can I come sit with you guys? No, you can't. Enjoy your suite by yourself. Be the hunchback from Notre Dame. Be the beast. No.
What did he do that everyone left?
Be Caden.
Showed up.
The work rate in this match isn't too high quality, is it, guys? They got the fuck up out of there.
Walks up to grab some food, and he's just like, "Are you believing this shit? Can you get a slice of pizza?" This
and
Chris
again,
Jericho, he's doing
the chat. She's cold. I'm not saying she's not cold. I just don't want to hear white people double time rap. Where's she from? She's from Australia?
Yeah, she's Australian.
I definitely don't want to hear an Australian double time rap.
She's
absolutely not.
She's gonna get it out of you. She's gonna make it for you, and she's gonna start rapping over your face.
And again, she's fucking cold at it. Like, it's a fucking talent. It is a skill. Just keep that shit far away from me.
I'm not gonna throw shots at Harley Cameron, but I understand where Cam is coming from. I love Eminem, my favorite rapper, musical artist of all time. Anytime he starts that double time, I'm like, can you just like not do this double time stuff? Great at it, like very, very good at it. Sometimes it works when he does it on Rap God. I'm like, all right, that works for that song. Then he'll do it on this random track. Like, can you just not do the double time
Yeah,
on
so
this
tell me go
track,
put on
please?
a Diplomat's beat. Put on a Diplomat's beat. Let me hear that freestyle. I'm not trying to no, keep it.
This is that flippy shit conversation we're having. I get it.
Hey, and I tell you what, you heard it on TV. Again, she's super over. Listen, the Hurt Syndicate is over. They were really, I was like, I want you guys to know when you watch Wednesday that we heard people that's not chimed in. That is the crowd. Just going, keeping the beat, doing that. They're chanting for MVP. I got a little kid off to the side. He's way off beat, yelling, "We hurt people." It's amazing. And the guns were over. And like again, as somebody who's like talking about the things they don't like, I really like the Euro step neck breaker. I think it's really cool. It's so cheesy. What are you doing? Just keep behind him and break his neck. But no, they're really. You got it.
No one should ever accuse AEW of piping in sound because they can barely get it right when they're doing it live. So like they don't like no one can ever be like, oh, they're piping it. No, they're not, because they can't get it right when it's normal. So like this to me was completely organic. Like anyone who tells you it's not, it's like, nah, you ain't paying attention, are you?
Yeah, that was a fun show. They've been doing well for a while. I'm not the biggest Death Riders guy. As far as like what Mox is doing with Cope, but again, you get a trios match. My favorite wrestler of all time, Adam Cole. My other favorite wrestler of all time, Roderick Strong. And just in there and oh, it was so good. Claudio's huge, and you like Wheeler Yuta. I think is finally where like I'd want him to be. Just as a little prick. It's amazing. That was a very fun show. I had a good time. All right. Let me get back to the job, fellas.
No, stick around. You got another hour.
Enjoy your Valentine's Day. Enjoy your night out in your expensive Brazilian steakhouse.
With the
enjoy putting together the Legos. Big Lego fan. So
no, she better not take those apart in my house. Big pieces everywhere. No, sir, absolutely not. But no, thank you so much, guys. Be talking to you soon. All right.
Thanks, buddy. Everyone go check out his feature article. It's on the Uncrowned on Ricochet. It's really good. Again, he always works in these pop culture references that I think are designed specifically to pop me.
Just you, though?
Yeah, just me. Like, I don't care if anybody else gets it. It doesn't matter to me. It always pops me. Like, Cam and I are I'm not going to say we're alike. I've already gotten threatened with murder once this week by saying I was like with
Cam's
someone.
Not the murder type. He's the threatening type.
No, we like similar things, so our references, our frame of reference is very similar when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, and again, great work that he does. Put it over every chance that I can. Now I do it on Blue Sky. So SB3 pointing out that Cam only shows up when he's not on the show. There's a reason for that. He likes me. I'm just kidding.
I do think like Joel like sends him the link instead of.
He knows it's static. He knows the deal. At this point, it's like you can show up whenever. It used to be. In fairness, and again, transparency, Cam would message me and be like, hey, you got time for me? And I'm like, yeah, we got time for you. Most of 99% of the time, the answer was yes. And then at one point, I'm like, pop in. If you see we're busy, don't. Like, go on YouTube and watch us first, and then come in if you think that if you think there's a lane. So he knows. But yeah, he's welcome anytime, whether SP3 is here, whether I'm here, Jeremy's here, whenever he's comfortable. But we like Cam when he shows up, regardless of who's on the screen with him. So we were talking about Harley Cameron. I kind of made my point, and then Cameron came into the show. But generally, again, if you go back, my point was that Harley can do a lot without winning, and there is going to be an opportunity for her to look great in defeats. And I think that's what you should be building for, because she's on the upswing. People are behind her, regardless of whether or not she wins or loses. But this should be the start of Harley Cameron losing and learning and starting to win more coming out of Grand Slam Australia. That's where I sit on it.
Okay.
Now the jokey jokes, because that's what you paid for. Also, no one's paid for us, but we do have a couple of super chats, so we should get them. Louis saying, Cameron crazy, stand
Can't
up.
say that. We're gonna get sued. Nope. Don't say
No?
that. No.
Can't do that?
No.
Damn it. Oh,
We're, Duke's gonna sue us. Can't do that.
well, someone's got to.
Stop trying to get us sued, Louis.
Wouldn't be the first time. And Matthew Hook says, does Jay White win? Then gets added to the Revolution.
Come back to that.
We'll get back to that one.
Okay.
We'll get back to that.
Here's
Cameron.
what should happen.
Yeah.
Here's what should happen.
Yeah.
Harley Cameron should win. She should. She should win the title. I don't care how long the match is. I don't care how good the match is. Win the title. In the main event, Toni Storm wins the title. Don't care how long. Don't care how good. Toni Storm wins the title. The closing shot of Grand Slam Australia. Toni Storm, Harley Cameron holding up the titles as the confetti rains down in one of the greatest moments in AEW history. And then all they do for the next weeks, months, years, decades is cinema. No more wrestling, just cinema. Harley Cameron, Toni Storm, skits and bits, baby. That's all I care to see. Harley Cameron and Toni Storm just interacting every single week on TV in cinematic fashion. You can do songs, you can do dances, you can do stand-up comedy, you can do ventriloquism, you can do music. I think I already said songs, don't care. We can do sketches, we can do anything we want to do. The world is the oyster with Toni Storm and Harley Cameron, as long as we get no wrestling. Where the best do everything but wrestle with Toni Storm and Harley Cameron. They can review movies. They can review this podcast. I don't care what they do. Nothing but cinema with Toni Storm and Harley Cameron. Mercedes can go have her wrestling matches. Mariah May can have her wrestling matches. Statlander, Willow, Julia Hart, Megan Bayne. They can all wrestle. Fine, wrestle. Get your 5-star matches. Go out there and wrestle for this crowd. Wrestle for the stars, the 5 stars, whatever. Toni Storm and Harley Cameron, the two champions. Cinema.
Skits and Bits is also the nickname for this podcast. Also, if Mercedes is involved, you can at least do skits and bits, and just put it to the theme. And then everyone's going to enjoy that. I get what you're saying. I'm a fan of it. So you think Toni Storm and Harley Cameron should become the TBS and women's champion and then just do skits and bits while everyone else fights?
Yeah. No
one else gets any other championship opportunities. Do those two wrestle at all? Do they ever defend their titles?
No.
What if what if the other wrestlers have to wrestle and then the match that goes for the title is actually like a 5-minute stand-up bit? Each woman gets 5 minutes, and whoever makes the crowd laugh wins whatever championship they're vying for.
Yeah, they can do cinema. They can do cinema for the titles. They never lose the titles, but they can do whatever type of cinema you want them to do for the titles.
Well, what if the other women do so well in recapturing the imagination of cinema and cinematographers and fans of cinema that they dethrone either Toni or Harley? Harley was never the person you go to for this stuff. She got that way. What if, and just like she said, she learned all this stuff. She's a quick learner. What if somebody else comes along as a quick learner? What if Deonna Purrazzo comes around and her prowess of whatever
entertainment? What, are they going to have a studying contest?
Maybe they take a test. Maybe who's the invigilator? Someone's gonna Tony Khan administers the TBS championship exam, and the winner gets the TBS title. Who needs matches? It's stand up, it's bits, it's skits, and that's how you defend the titles.
Tony Khan handing out Scantrons to Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. You got the manila folders on each. What?
Who's got the answer to number 5?
You got the manila folders. What the other person has on there. Fine, that's fine. I don't care how you do it. But the thing is, if Deonna Purrazzo wins, she ain't wrestling. She ain't wrestling for the title. She can't defend it in a wrestling match. She can keep having Scantron matches. She cannot have a wrestling match.
That's fine. They should all be competing for the opportunity to take time off for the opportunity to just be creative clowns for however long it takes until the next clown dethrones them. And how does the clown win? They fight their way to the top, but then the top gives them the rest that they so rightly deserve. I think that we would just revolutionize wrestling.
Yeah, we took out the wrestling portion. That shit
Well,
sucks.
the wrestling portion is there for those who need it to get to the top. But then when we get to the top, those big title defenses are not wrestling matches. They are skits and bits, as they should be.
Yeah, who cares about the wrestling?
AEW pay-per-views, we just went from being 3 hours and 58 minutes. They're now going to be like 58 minutes because we cut out the wrestling. It's just skits and bits for every title. Well, specifically the women. So maybe we just made the show like 3 hours and 48 minutes.
No, the women should get more time.
I
than the
agree.
wrestlers.
I'm just going by what we have right now.
No, that what we have right now gives them more time. Because I want, multi-person comedy matches, multi-person stand-up comedy, multi-person performances. I want the wrestling to be like 2 minutes. The men can wrestle for 2 minutes. Fine. Let the women go out there and perform with the cinema.
Okay, I'm listening to you. Listen, I hope that you are on the right track with this. I hope that's what they do.
Yeah,
Harley-
Jason's got it. Those tests could take hours, man. You never know.
That's true.
They ain't just filling in C for every answer, then throwing in the random eggs. It's like can't be C every time. Like, oh.
I just thought about that one guy who once rage quit on our show because we didn't like AEW enough for him. I wonder if he's watching us now, doing this conversation. I think about some people sometimes. I like that person until they went
I
crazy.
don't think about any of these people.
Really? You don't think about our chat? I think about our chat all the time. I like them. Thank you, guys.
I think about our chat when they're here with us, but that's it.
No, I think about you all often.
No.
AEC, All Elite Cinema. Me and Normus has got it.
Yeah.
AEC. AEC.
That's pretty chantable. You can make that a chant.
That's what they're going to chant when Adam Copeland wins. AEC. No? All Elite Cope. Or maybe when Edge and Christian win the tag titles. All Edge Christian. Yeah? No? Okay. Well, I was really just using that as a way to, oh, wait a minute. Where did this come from? She takes the CC contract and pins Mox for the title.
That.
There we go.
Good. Then make the world title. Nothing but the cinema.
It should be.
That's
They're
fine
already
too.
trying. They're already trying. Take out a big stick and whack the briefcase with it. Got Cope being all like, I've held a couple of these. I know what this is about. But it's not the thing that you stole it. You didn't steal it the last time. But really, the big question came from Matthew Hooks. Does Jay White win the match in Australia and then get added to the Revolution title match? I hope not.
Nah, Jay White's taking that L, brother.
Do you think Jay White's going to take the L? Or is it going to be that Adam Copeland pins Moxley and then they're like, what could this mean for Revolution? Oh my God, Moxley could lose.
No, I
And then
think
he
Cope
gets his one
probably. I think Cope pins Claudio or something. I don't think Mox has taken the loss. Unnecessary to have Mox get pinned. Just keep them as strong as you can during all of this. So Claudio's there to take a loss, and if Jay pins him, maybe that leads to a Jay White John Moxley title match on Dynamite. I don't think he gets added to the Revolution main event, though. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go just Cope and Moxley one-on-one.
What happened to FTR?
They're going after the tag titles, brother. Watch the product.
Brother, I've told you this months ago, and you were like, they do this every month.
Yeah, well, now it's the time of the month.
But like all four men were in the ring making the challenge, and suddenly it's become 2-on-2 because FTR is like, well, maybe we can't make it to Australia, so
They won. They won the street fight in Dennis Condrey's stomach. So now they're going after the tag titles.
What is it in his stomach, in his brain? It was all over Dennis Condrey, the Mid-South. It wasn't like Mid-South, so it's got to be. I guess it is his tummy because that is the Mid-South portion of his
They
body.
fought in Dennis Condrey's asshole, and they won.
That would have been the very South title.
Well, it's kind of mid if you got long legs.
Most men don't have long legs.
Uh,
Most men are torso.
okay.
I don't know, but that was just the one thing I thought about. I understand, yes, FTR won the Mid-South brawl, but it really felt like they were trying to make this an 8-man match, kind of akin to like Anarchy in the Arena, where you would have it would be 5-on-5, but instead they were gonna do 4-on-4 is how I felt. Instead, it's just 2-on-2. Claudio and Mox are gonna team up together, and they're gonna take on Cope and Jay White, and that's the match. Which is, again, it's fine. Yeah, this collision on Saturday, this Grand Slam collision, looks like it'll be a fun card. Don't get me wrong. Things have clearly like ebbed and flowed in terms of presentation, but yeah, it's good. It's all leading up to Revolution, because now they've finally announced that it's going to be Mox and Cope for the world title, and this is just one way to move that story along, because you'll be 2 weeks away from the show at that point.
Honestly, like, this card is really good and it's been built well. It's a shame that it got, I don't want to say conflated by fans, because they did make this a big deal. They were going to run this at a stadium, so it was going to be a big show. Well, and then the fact that we couldn't figure out where it was going to air, when it was going to air, what time it was going to air.
You still don't know that part.
Nah, well, technically we don't know what time it's going to air. That's true, because NBA All-Star Saturday could end anytime between 10:30 and 11. So yeah, it might end past 11. I don't know. Very possible that it
Listen,
could.
if Shaq, the way Shaq was talking last night, it might end at like 12:30.
Yeah, and they dragged that All-Star game out so much, all that stuff. Like, the dunk contest is so long and tedious, and there's so many commercials, and here's a musical performance, and now we got to introduce everybody. I think it ain't ended at 10:30. Everybody, I'm letting you know right now. I don't think those things ever end at 10:30. So get ready for like 10:50 at the earliest that thing's gonna end. Anyway,
Feel bad for the Collision crew, because they've said they're going to do a post show after Collision on Saturday. I was talking to Cresta last night before we did TNA. She's like, I don't know what I thought I was doing.
they starting that thing till like 1:00. Good luck to them.
Yeah, have fun. I will be in bed. I will watch the Grand Slam show probably on Sunday. Yeah, that'll probably be what I do Sunday morning.
Is it airing live in Australia? Like,
no, I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so. I know that they're working on a Disney Plus edition when it comes to the Australia stuff, like with their streaming. I don't know when that comes into effect, but someone kind of mentioned like this is a possibility. I'm not in Australia. I don't know much about what their streaming situation is when it's coming to AEW. I know with WWE, everything there is now on Netflix. They were on Binge for a year or two. That's over. Now they're in now they're on Netflix. I don't know with AEW. They have a deal, but it's not like a super duper one. Yeah, ESPN, and now ESPN is doing Disney Plus content in Australia. So
okay.
It's not. I don't think it's going to be live. I think it's going to be taped, and then it'll be disseminated when you watch Collision live tomorrow night. But the card looks good. You mentioned it. You know, you've got the Ospreay Omega and Takeshita and Fletcher match. That feels like a hot. Honestly, would you open the show with that one?
What else is? Yeah, because I don't know if I'm opening with the street fight. You might open with Harley and Tony, especially if Harley's gonna lose. Like,
You mean Harley and Mercedes?
yeah, Harley and Mercedes. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, because it's only, I don't know, maybe Okada and Buddy opens.
I feel like that's middle of the show. That might be a halfway.
All right. Yeah, Ospreay and Omega against Don Callis family. That could open. I don't think there's like a bad choice to really open. Like, all these matches, again, they've all been built well. Okada and Buddy's the build that's kind of lacked, because it's just been the same build for every Okada match. Like, I want to see the G1 Okada bitch, and that's what it's been. That's been the one that's lacked the most when it comes to build, but it's going to be a very good in-ring match. So, but all the other 4 matches have been built pretty well, and I think you're going to get a hot crowd for all 4 of them.
Yeah, you know what? I would put Harley Cameron and Mercedes up first, because Harley would be the first babyface for the show. Like, take out the ROH taping for this actual event. She would be the first babyface to come out. She's hometown. She's got all the push behind her from the crowd. That would be huge for her. And Mercedes is Mercedes. I think this should open the show. I know that Kenny's
You also
and all that stuff, but like, you can still get the reaction for Ospreay and Omega and Takeshita and Fletcher. You still get that desired reaction later on in the night as well.
You also get the disappointment out of the way when Harley loses.
Yeah, no, honestly, you do. And again, you'll have to do it a few times because then you've got Buddy Matthews, and I don't think he's going to win the Continental Championship. And I still think that Fletcher is going to get the pinfall victory, and it's going to lead into Fletcher and Ospreay at Revolution. I don't know what Omega's doing. Well, I guess Omega and Takeshita would be the other match for Revolution at this point for the international title.
I think that's flipped. I do think like that's a possibility, but I think it's going to be Fletcher and Omega and Takeshita and Ospreay. But I do think we're getting 2 singles matches out of this tag match.
And you think that will lead to the 2 of them doing the flip again for Double or Nothing or Dynasty?
I mean, maybe. I don't know if they have to necessarily do that. Yeah.
So the reasoning behind it is obviously Ospreay and Fletcher have had 2 matches. This would be the third because I think they're 1-1. So this would be the blow off. And then with Omega and Takeshita, Omega holding the international championship feels like something that they're going to go into for for All In Texas in July, which you can do. You can do that now, pull the trigger and have Omega go on a run, or you could wait a little bit and then lead into Texas. If they're going to,
but he's facing Okada at All In. Are you unifying the titles?
Yeah, we're unifying the titles. Get rid of the Continental Championship already. Call it the Intercontinental Championship. I don't care what you do.
That's not going to happen though.
What, the match or the combination of titles?
The unifying the titles. The match is going to happen. They more or less told you it was going to happen at All In. I don't think we're unifying the titles though.
I think if they don't unify them, then it'll be winner takes all, and you get both titles, and then the winner, whoever it is, they'll have both titles, and one will be up once in a while, or they'll figure out a way that eventually, when we get to the C2, that person will be back in the tournament and defending their title, whoever that is. So I don't know, but I do feel like those 2 titles will be involved somehow going into All In if you get to Kenny and Okada for that show. But that's where I'm coming from with those 2 matches coming out of Grand Slam, is they're stories for both.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't and you flip it, then you're just kind of delaying the inevitable, which is fine. You could do it at Dynasty, which would be just as hot. You'd just be doing it a month later than planned. Dynasty in Philly at the Licura Center.
I forgot Dynasty was a thing.
Well, it's because it's supposed to be in with the Arches in St. Louis, but instead they haven't changed the logo yet. TNA changes their logos more than AEW does.
I legitimately forgot this is the thing. When SP3 and I were talking yesterday, I feel like we both just did not include Dynasty. We're talking like Revolution and then Double or Nothing. Just completely skipped out on Dynasty.
As is tradition. Well, because it's a newer show. It's only had 1 year of legacy behind it. So who knows? Yeah. Where are we? There's also a Grand Slam. You've got the Cope and Death Riders match. Cope and Jay White versus Death Riders. We did talk about it, but where on the card it would be, I don't know. Again, this could open the show, and it could easily just be that you get it out and get it out, and the big moment. Again, the big moment is potentially Cope pinning Moxley, and then making a big deal out of that.
You know what they should do? They should have all these matches going on at once.
Perfect.
And then whenever they end, and the show's done in like 30 minutes.
SP3 adding in, why don't you have Omega win the world title and instead make it about, the world title for Okada and Omega? Then the international championship is not, it doesn't have the same added effect. This is kind of the issue with AEW when it comes to so many titles, is they make titles big when they want to, and then others become a back burner. So great example of this is the TNT title. Remember, the guy who won that was like, we're bringing it back. And then what have they done with that? Daniel Garcia was supposed to have this big, thanks. Exactly. They haven't done anything with Daniel Garcia in that regard. They've done a few things. I'm not going to say they've done nothing. He did a few defenses, but he hasn't been, as a singles act, the reason. It's been him with 2.0. That's they got to put that back in the running, make it a major championship, but they kind of make it a major championship as it comes, or as they define it.
I was thinking about Jack Perry the other day. Very sad time for
I was gonna
myself.
say, what were you doing?
There's an alternate universe where he never becomes Jack Perry. He sticks as Jungle Boy. He sticks with the jungle theme and the wave, and he develops some type of like call that the crowd gets behind.
I know. Can I give you one?
Sure.
Oh.
No, but he like it's got to be like he does it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like the crowd singing, sure.
Well, I mean,
But
he could do it.
he develops some type of catchphrase that the crowd gets behind, and he becomes like the top baby face.
Oh, you want like 2000s Filthy Animals where they're singing, we're doing hoo.
Well, that would actually be a good. I mean, I don't think that works for him, but
No.
yeah. Like, what's a good like jungle call? Like he ends all his promos with "Caca!"
And then he's ripping off Ricochet. Like it's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like he becomes like this top baby face with the crowd behind him doing the wave, catchy theme song, and
Watch out for that tree. Brandon Fraser is going to join AEW.
That's I don't know. I was just thinking about they ain't doing nothing else with Jack Perry. Just bring him back as Jungle Boy, as top baby face in the company.
Remember when people thought he was going to be the newest member of the Don Callis family? Mark Davis. Remember him?
I never thought.
I know.
People thought he was going to be Don Callis.
There were some people. Yeah, there were some people who speculated it could be Jack Perry.
There was definitely talk of him, like speculation, not talk. I don't know, like inside talk, but the Death Rider stuff. People were definitely speculating of he was going to be part of that, and like maybe they still go there. But that dude's been off TV since losing the title. He's been in Japan, but you know what can you do?
Simple Jack Perry is absolutely fantastic.
I would make Jack Perry, Jungle Jack, the top babyface in the promotion.
Oh, there's one man who would love that, and he's got a barbecue sauce to sell you. I tell you what, sorry, wrong part of the country. They're adjacent, Oklahoma, Texas. There's a lot of Texas lately, but it's not that guy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Grand Slam looks good, and again, it feels like Mariah May and Toni Storm are going to be the headliners. They're going to be the last match on the show. But other than that, yeah, looks fun, and even the Global Wars stuff, whatever they're taping for Ring of Honor, it looks pretty solid. The Ring of Honor, all 12 of them are going to love watching that episode. What else from AEW Dynamite should we talk about? Megan Bayne stuff was good. Megan Bayne coming out squashing Maya World was fine, but then the big stuff is Statlander and Megan Bayne seem to be on a collision course. Penelope Ford is like involved but not. I don't know how to feel about this whole Megan Bayne Penelope Ford kinship. I can't call it a partnership, can't call it a friendship. It's just Penelope Ford seems to be there the last couple of times Megan Bayne has done something. She always takes advantage of the situation and then walks away. So I don't know if this is going to turn into Penelope cozying up to Megan Bayne and Megan Bayne reluctantly accepting her, or if this is just like Penelope just happens to be there and they're just not going to play it off. But I like that they're going to do Statlander and Megan Bayne sometime soon. Maybe she can sit in a car for 45 minutes tomorrow. Talk about it. Payback.
Penelope and Megan Bayne is such a funny pairing.
That's the thing.
Sure.
You know the episode with the lemon tree, the Simpsons episode with the lemon tree?
No.
Okay, so Shelbyville steals the Springfield lemon tree. And then Springfield has to go, the kids go to save it. The boys do this gang warfare thing against Shelbyville. For some reason, Nelson teams up with Martin Prince, right? The nerdy kid with the bully. And that's exactly what I feel like Penelope Ford's doing with Megan Bayne, where Penelope is just going to dance around Megan Bayne singing "Hark to the Tale of Nelson and the boy he loves so dear." And that's going to be Megan Bayne. She's like, get out of my way. But they're just going to be best of friends somehow.
They're just going to be sitting there and like telling stories. The camera's going to pan over. Joey Janela's making a sandwich and
It's a lobster sandwich.
Kip Sabian's chilling, watching TV. Just sure.
Doing pretty well, huh, bud? You bet, mate. You want to team up? Absolutely not. We're good.
Remember when you kissed me as you thought you were kissing Penelope? And I got a kiss on the cheek.
That's the most confusing foursome. I don't mean it that way. I mean those four like in a room together. It's the most confusing four people in a room together you could think of. I love it.
That's why it rolls. This is good for our cinema talk. We just get a odd couple, odd double couple skit out of this.
It's Janela sitting on the couch in the room in the corner doing an interview with us, while the other three are just off camera doing literally anything else. And then it'll be like, actually, yeah, Penelope and Kip and Megan are just over there. They're watching TV. Like they're what?
Very good.
Someone's saying, "How did you whip out that reference right off the cuff?" I know a lot of Simpsons stuff right off the cuff.
Can you sing? We need a Dynamite theme for the week because we didn't sing on Wednesday because we were talking to Joey Janela for an hour. As Megan Bain sat there.
I went looking at her socials afterwards just to see if she like posted anything during that time. I don't think she did, but I was just laughing.
So we need a Dynamite theme for the week. Everybody, throw some suggestions. What Simpsons songs can Joel sing for this?
Or just give us an idea for anything. Well, we're doing Maya Quimby ideas now. It's Chowder. Sorry, that's the nephew. Say it right. No, we're not doing the Bart man. Give me good ones. The monorail's always good. I don't know. Do anything. Give me any ideas. Everyone's thinking monorail. Thanks.
People love the monorail. I don't watch The Simpsons. I can't give you this.
Do See My Vest.
What?
See My Vest. Hail to the bus driver. He steps on the clutch and the toilet goes flush. Hail to the shut up. That's when he finally cracks. Yeah, good stuff. Not doing Baby on Board. I need 3 other guys with talent to do that. They'll never stop the Death Riders. Yeah, that's why they never will. The Stonecutters, who keeps Atlantis off the map. Who knows? Oh no, that's Hinder's Lips of an Angel. Who keeps the Martians under wrap? Who knows? Oh man, I forget the lyrics, but I'd have to look them up. Garbage Can Man. There's some good songs in that. I used to have Tales in the Tune of Springfield.
You gotta sing one of these, Joel.
I don't really want to do that. I'm not in a singing mood right now. Call Mr. Plow. That's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow.
I'm just gonna cut up all what you've sung, and now it's just gonna be a Simpsons medley.
Good for you. There is a Simpsons medley out there. I'm sure you can find it. Martin's version of the Summer Wind. I don't do a good Martin Prince. The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. That's when he got pantsed. And anyway, it's a whole pool episode. All right. We already talked about the Hurt Syndicate, kind of, with Cam. Is there anything else from Dynamite that we really need to talk about? No. Yeah, otherwise, like Max. Oh, look at the MJF and Hangman. That was fun.
I feel like I've talked about that to death this week, but
that's fine. Ryan Adams dropping with the heat. Real question of the day is how many points is Bailey dropping tonight in the Celebrity All-Star game?
So like the rosters, celebrities have various of how serious they're going to take it. No knock on Bailey. She's not like a big time celebrity. You know, when Kevin Hart is doing this, like he's going out there and he's trying to like show off and everything. When Bow Wow was in the celebrity game, like he was like a big celebrity at the time. Bailey's not exactly the headlining celebrity out of this. So I don't know how much she's going to like take shots and stuff. Like it feels like Kai Cenat and Drewski are going to be the two who are just doing as much as they can because it's like we're fun comedy guys and we're popular streamers, and so we're just going to ball hog the entire time. Bayley might be the best hooper of all of them, but it feels like this is going to be a kind of a Kai Cenat Drewski show. We'll go Bayley. We'll go 6 points for Bayley.
I'm trying to look up, and there are no stats on last year's performance.
I don't really keep track of
The worst. What do I even care for? The worst.
Yeah, Bayley can hoop. By all accounts, Bayley can hoop a little bit. So
yeah, let's go with Bayley gets 18 points.
What? Oh, geez. Okay, sure.
Yeah, let's go. She's just gonna fucking rue just everyone. She's gonna run through everyone.
I mean, I hope so. It'd be great if she has a good performance. I'm gonna have to do an article on it regardless. So it'd be great if she has a good performance. I just don't expect Bayley to get a ton of playing time or get a ton of shots up.
After
these celebrities games.
After what happened with The Miz last year, they got to give all these WWE stars maximum minutes to make maximum impact.
Miz had that one shot that didn't even count.
Yeah, but it made huge headlines.
Yeah, so the WWE people just don't get a ton of run in this stuff. Like they're out there to have fun, understandably so.
Let's go triple double Bayley.
Oh, I would love it. Would love if Bayley got triple double. It'd be fantastic.
BBL now stands for Basketball Lover Bayley. BBL Bayley.
BLB.
She beats BBL, this Basketball Lover Bayley. So BBLB.
Basketball's one word, Joel.
No, not in this case. We're doing it differently.
Oh. Okay.
We live our truths out here. Bayley gets fouled out running through the other players.
Did I have Bayley just post up everybody? Just backs them down. Rule.
We'll see tonight with the All-Star celebrity game. That'll be fun. What else is happening tonight?
I hope Bayley fouls people. Kai Cenat tries to go the hole, and Bayley just gives him a nice little forearm to the chest.
Yeah.
No fucking layups is what Bayley should scream as she does it.
Could you imagine?
That's my favorite. I play basketball against the kids. I don't curse, but kids will drive and I'll just come out and swat them, and I just scream out, "No fucking layups!" The kids are like, "Mom, Jerry's being mean to me playing hoops again."
Bayley to belly when someone does a layup. Grabs them, slams them down. Let's go.
It's I learned it from Russell Westbrook, the greatest NBA player of all time. He did a hard foul one game and he just screamed, "No fucking layups." So now every time I play hoops, I just hard foul people who try to go for a layup and scream that.
That's the way. Yeah. Just
I got video of me dunking on one of the kids, just completely owned them.
That's right. Oh, as per usual on SmackDown, 3 things announced for the
pretty good though.
Yeah, that's true. They're in Washington, D.C., home of TNA, as we've discovered through this show. And then Vengeance Day is also this weekend, so I guess we can preview that a little bit. Women's Chamber qualifying match, Chelsea Green and Naomi. This is a good one. It feels like... Actually, you know what? This is where it's strange, because, again, it depends where the scuttlebutt is. If Chelsea Green qualifies through the Chamber, then our idea of a Chelsea Green Trish Stratus U.S. Championship match on the show might not happen. If Naomi wins... well, then we just opened it right back up.
They already had one of their champions lose in these qualifying matches.
One of their mid-card women's champions, no less. Let's do the other one, 2 for 2.
Yeah.
At least this one has put her title up once or twice.
Yeah. I think Chelsea should be defending this title on the show against somebody. She should be on this show. I don't love her losing and then going in and defending the title. I mean, you can do something with still if it's Nikki or Trish, but I don't think that's going to be the plan. I think Chelsea's just going to win this match. I think Chelsea's going to win, and that's how she gets on this show.
Okay. We'll see where that goes. On the men's side, they got a triple threat match for obvious reasons. Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman, and Damian Priest. The obvious reason being Jacob Fatu is not going to win the match, nor is he going to lose the match. He's just going to be in the match. Is this Damian Priest or Braun Strowman? Who am I kidding?
Priest.
Damian Priest is going to win. Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu are going to have another one-on-one match on SmackDown, maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
maybe
Priest
in
is gonna
Toronto. Yeah, they got to get the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre story.
Yeah,
get excited for that. Is there anything else? Yeah. I just closed it.
Tiffy and Naomi.
Tiffany
Or
and
Tiffy and Nia.
Yeah. Tiffany and Nia for the women's championship is up. Good. I'm glad they're doing this because they needed to do that, tie up the loose end, and hopefully start moving towards the Tiffy and Charlotte match at WrestleMania. I know we've got a while until then, but we should probably start moving that way, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's it for SmackDown right now. Don't think anything else is going to be on there. NXT Vengeance Day is also this Saturday from TNA's favorite space, Washington, D.C. Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe in a strap match. It took everything in my power not to call it a Yep Happy strap match.
The Yappa Pie.
The Yappa Pie. I hate
that's
that.
what it's called.
That's true. I think it was the Yep Happy, but they screwed up.
Yappa Pie is what he says. I don't care what it's called. That's what he said.
You've heard the John Cena remix? Of course you have, right?
I don't know if I have actually.
No? Oh, I'll send it to you afterwards. It's fantastic. Lived by it. If you haven't yet, I'll post it on my socials for everyone. Trick and Eddie Thorpe. Feels like this is Trick's match to win. Eddie Thorpe once again sucks. The tag match they just announced on Tuesday. It's Nathan Frazier and Axiom. For Axiom taking on Josh Briggs and Inamura. Feels like it'll be a strong tag match where Fraxium wins again.
Yeah.
Javon Evans, Ethan Page. If Javon Evans gets hit in the face, he'll never wrestle again. It's not really what it is, but let's face it, that's how they're kind of playing it off. So who wins? Ethan Page, Javon Evans. Is this where you bring in Josh Alexander if not in the main event?
Oh, I don't know if I'd go right to Alexander and Ethan Page. Feels like you can wait on that one. You don't need to immediately reference that.
Okay. I'm down with that. I just saw the names and I was like, could you? You could, but I'm largely in agreement. You just wait on that. Does Ethan Page finally win one, or does Javon Evans finally win one?
Javon Evans needs a win. I'd probably have Ethan Page win, though.
Problem is with Javon, like this should be his comeuppance because of everything that Ethan Page did leading up to this. This should be the guy beating up the bully and backing the bully down because Ethan Page has been winning again. So maybe it is Javon Evans gets the big win and Ethan Page is just like, he gets frustrated and whatever happens next is what happens next. He and Eddie Thorpe become a tag team. I don't know. Fallon Henley versus Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT North American Women's Championship. Is this the first championship for Stephanie Vaquer in NXT? Feels this way.
It should be. And Fallon Henley, I forgot she was the champion, honestly.
Well, all three of them are technically champions together. They share it.
Oh, okay. Well,
not really. They don't freebird it or anything. It's just that you just think of Fatal Attraction and it's all one person. Fatal Influence.
Vaquer should win.
Vaquer should win. Absolutely. Make this her moment. Again, like how Julia had her moment a couple of weeks ago on NXT and to open in the opening match. This should open the show, and this should be the Stephanie Vaquer moment where, just like Julia, she gets that big opening match moment. Julia, speaking of which, puts her title up against Bayley, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. This is Julia's match to win, and I'm sure the story coming out of it is how much do those other three women hate each other.
Yeah.
Will Cora Jade be confronted by Masha Slamovich? Masha comes out with the actual the X'd out photo and be like, "This is how you really do it," and it's painted in blood. I don't know what they're gonna do, but Julia's gonna win this match, right?
I think Julia's gonna win. Yeah, you can't take the title off her this quickly.
Triple threat for the NXT Championship. Oba Femi, the champion, defends against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I don't know, man. What if you have Grayson Waller win as a lead into Grand Slam Australia?
I'm for Grayson Waller winning. It's not going to happen, but I'm totally for it.
I hope this match goes 30 minutes because they'll rub it in an SP3's face.
Grayson Waller should win. It should pin Austin Theory. And Austin Theory should chill out. And then we can do a great Grayson Waller and Oba Femi feud.
Some in the chat mentioning Jordan Grace facing off against Julia. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Again, you can't have too many people just show up and face off against the other. Is your cat pawing at the door?
I don't know where she's at. She's not in here.
Is she in the walls?
It sort of feels that way.
Like I heard the scratching just now.
I don't know if she's in the bathroom or what.
Hope she's not in there. That's hilarious. I just heard the scratching and I'm like, what is going on in there?
Cat's dumb.
That's fair, but she loves you very much. Oba retains. Is that kind of where we're sitting?
Grayson Waller should win.
Fair. That's fair. But that's Vengeance Day. That's Saturday as well in DC. So it'll be a good night. That's it. That's all we got. Is there anything else you want to plug before you go find your cat?
I'm gonna see if she's at the door.
Go check and see if she's at the door. This is actually hilarious because I don't know if anyone can hear it, but I hear her like in my head. I hear the scratch. She's just at the door.
Yeah, she just want to come in. Come here. Come here. She doesn't want to like be on camera. She'll scratch at the door the entire time, but doesn't want to show up. Hey, come here. All right, dum. There we go. There's the cat.
Cat stream. No one else could hear it, but I could hear the scratching. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
definitely here. She just wanted to be in it. You want some mana?
Oh, it is Friday, isn't it?
Mana.
Oh,
Now she just wants down there. Now she's gonna like leave immediately.
I get it. I do.
Around here. She ain't chilling here for the rest of the show. It's only like 5 minutes.
That's all right. We're pretty much done. You ready ready? You ready to do the thing?
I guess I got to clip you singing Simpsons songs as the Dynamite theme this week.
You really don't. You could just do whatever you want.
No, that's what it's got to be.
Seems bad.
Why are you in a bad mood today, Joel? It's Valentine's Day.
Bad mood. Who cares? Did we talk Samoa Joe? Samoa Joe named his group the Ops and wants to face the patriarchy instead of going after the guy who took him out of the show several months ago. Joe should be going after. Unfortunately, he should be going after Chris Jericho if you want to talk continuity. Instead, he's going after Christian Cage. Hooray.
I feel like Hook and Christian Cage have been feuding for like 20 years now.
Yes, that seems to be what happens with Hook these days.
Yeah, because the Taz attack was in October. So that's when they basically set it up, was October. That's when Taz got taken out. Hook is just chilling. You know, Hook has 2 feuds a year. That's it. It's 2 feuds the entire year.
None of which are with his bank account, so it doesn't matter.
That dude's living a life. He's hanging out on Tommy Hilfiger's Instagram and everything. Like,
seriously,
he's doing well for himself.
He's happy. Happy as a pig and you know what.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Don't worry. Mimosa Joe, he's also doing fine. Don't you worry about him.
Small Joe does rule.
Yeah. And speaking of Joes, should we get to it? More like Samoans. Speaking of
you're not mentioning any Joes at all.
Here's the thing.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. Oh, I went heavy. Oh, that was too much. Not good shit today. No.
Got that. Oh, for the first time, he's chasing it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that did not go well.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, for Jeremy Lambert, you know who I am.
Oh.
You know what he does. Happy Valentine's Day or whatever you're doing. Go enjoy wrestling or don't. Get outside or don't, but at least have fun with it. And hopefully you get a big smile on your face. We'll be back on Monday to do the things, talk about all the stuff we previewed and then some. For Jeremy Lambert, I am who I am. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you next one. Cheers.